And so to business.
Yes, and my favourite sort of gadget show where we test whether it's actually possible to better yourself using tech.
We're about to see Polly and Otis take on the daunting task of using gadgets to learn a completely new skill in just a few short weeks.
And it'll end with two challenges. Polly going up against two England golfers on possibly one of the world's best inland golf courses.
And Otis will face a gig at one of the world's most famous dance venues.
This is it for these guys. This is where they test their mettle, whether we see if they're just a pretty face and a six-pack.
Oh, yes. The pressure is well and truly on.
The Gadget Show has a long and proud history of giving us almost impossible challenges to learn new skills in quadruple quick time.
It's always a daunting mission where failure is a real possibility.
I'm so stressed I can't even see.
Like when Jason had to cook for Anthony Worrell Thompson.
Next time use sugar, not salt.
But the rewards can be immense, as I found out when I used a PC game to learn to fly a plane for real.
Oh my God, I just landed a plane!
So this latest challenge would be as demanding as anything that had gone before.
And that's because I've got 8 weeks of tech-filled training to transform me from a complete novice into a player capable of playing golf.
And capable of taking on two experienced England golfers on one of the best and toughest courses in the world. Jason Banting, the pro at my local course Silvermere, was on hand to tell me just how much work I need to do to succeed in this task. And obviously, I needed to do a lot.
Oh, why did I mess it up?
I'd have to make massive improvements to stand any chance of success.
This is where it all begins, Jace.
So Polly now knew the scale of her challenge, but what about me? What was I up against? To find out, I popped into the DJ Academy at the Ministry of Sound, the world-famous venue where I'd have to perform my first ever DJing gig in just 8 weeks. Hi, Sam, is it?
It is, yeah. I run the academy here.
Yep.
Chris today will be your DJ tutor.
Yes. The first thing Chris explained was the basics of mixing music, moving seamlessly from one record to the next. It's the cornerstone of all DJing. And there are plenty of tricks at the DJ's disposal to make each mix sound flawless.
Can you hear that going slower?
Yes, I can.
And faster?
Yep.
Now, the reason we do that is to make the beats that we're playing on this record match in time with the beats that are playing out in the club.
So that you can bring this in without it sounding terrible.
So that you can do it?
No. And I was right. Oh, man.
I don't know which track is which. Bit of course tuning, maybe.
Yeah. Piece of cake, innit? OK, I'm gonna go home now.
I was also facing a challenge that filled me with dread, but the tech was on my side. Modern clubs have technology jam-packed into the design and the materials.
So, Jason, what's so important about the technology in the club head?
Golf clubs would used to have been looked a lot like that, what's classed as a blade.
But now everything about new clubs is designed to make the game easier.
Much wider sole, sweet spot on the club face is wider and deeper, very user-friendly.
I could even test out which clubs suited my physique best using the Flight Scope radar tracking system. I hit a series of shots with Nike, Ping, Yonex and Callaway clubs. Then I analysed the distance, trajectory and spin and decided which performed best for me. And so I settled on the Callaway clubs to get me through the next 8 gruelling weeks.
I was also desperate to get at the tech that would give me some chance of success. So I visited the world's biggest DJ event, BPM, an exhibition showcasing exactly the sort of gadgetry I would need. But faced with all this gadget heaven, where do I start? Lucky for me, I bumped into house music legend DJ Danny Rampling, who agreed to take a look around with me. The first thing I needed was a mixing desk, one that was easy to learn on but would also allow me to perform professionally. We checked out a number of the very best before I settled on the Tractor S4.
This has opened up a whole new realm of creativity. You have 4 tracks running at once. You can sample part of a track, you can put effects on it, so everything is very immediate with this equipment.
Yeah. The Tractor S4 is a fully integrated unit, including a top-quality sound card and all the software a DJ needs.
So you can be practically remixing on the fly, live in a club.
Right. I don't know if I'll be doing any of that. How long have you been DJing again?
Probably about 25 years.
And all I had was 8 weeks.
Back at the course, I'd gathered together a whole heap of golf tech that I hoped would teach me how to play with the pros. And Christian Donald, a top caddy, was on hand to help me sift through it all.
Pretty good, it guides you in the right direction.
Yeah. One of my favourites was a neat glove that helps you grip the club properly.
Most people grip it way too tight.
Already it's beeping at me.
That's too tight.
I am strangling the club.
The Sensor glove has sensors in each finger. It bleeps when you're holding the club too hard, and it shows you which fingers are gripping too tight.
I think it's a great bit of kit, and
Yeah.
I would definitely use it.
Another big tech success was the Explain-R swing trainer.
You're just supposed to feel the swing and the movement of the arms and where the muscles are taking you.
It really teaches you the correct swing plane. Once you get that correct, then it allows your body to move in the correct way as well.
The Explain-R's heavy club rests on the adjustable metal ring and develops strength and flexibility.
It's absolutely vital to a consistent golf swing.
I like this.
Yeah.
I was also looking for more tech, and with my mixing deck sorted, I needed the second vital component of a DJ's outfit, headphones. I checked out a range of models, and expert Mark Settle told me what I needed: crystal clear sound quality and a rugged headset.
Another important issue is isolation. You've got to keep that sound from the club out of your own ears.
Okay, yes.
So the quality of the isolation on the pads, having it closed back on the headphones, really important.
In the end, I picked the Sennheiser HD25s. They're a DJ favourite. I like the quality, and they were comfortable to wear. In terms of the clarity and the isolation that you've mentioned before, bang on. So I'm going to go with these. Hold on.
So we'd both sorted out the tech that we needed. Now the hard work had to start.
Polly and I had less than 8 weeks to become experts, so there was no time to waste.
Hey, plenty of impressive tech to get to grips with there, quite
Nice.
literally for you.
Oh, absolutely, and some of it worked straight away. I could feel the effect immediately.
I like that swing arc thing because the
Explainer.
swing is so critical to it, to playing golf, but very difficult to master for the novice, isn't it?
Yeah,
Clever.
fascinating stuff, Polly. And I think we grew up in the era where DJs became superstars, didn't they? And we all want to
totally.
be a secret DJ. Give him a nudge, will you? Because the thing is, when you start a new hobby, you know, it can be pretty expensive, can't it?
Yes, it can be very expensive, actually, but something like this, the Stanton SCS4 DJ, is an entry-level DJ kit, and it's pretty much self-contained. All you have to do is plug in your separate playlist, and then you can just take off that.
Come on, give us some tunes.
Oh, you want to hear something?
Yeah.
Okay, right, here we go. That's one tune there, one tune, and I'm going to mix in the next one.
Nice.
It's looking good.
There you go.
You're there, baby. That's 2 tunes,
Two
right?
tunes, yeah.
It's certainly a big challenge, isn't it? 8 weeks to do it, loads of great tech, but 2 big goals. The question is, can they do it?
Fish, cardboard box.
Welcome back. Now, I want to talk to you about your rights. Your consumer rights. We're now in the final run-up to Christmas, and a heck of a lot of gadgets are going to be sold over the next month or two, which is marvellous, except when one of your gadgets goes wrong. And then getting help, a refund or a replacement can often be a frustratingly maddening experience. Well, to prepare you for such eventualities, I've been looking into exactly what your rights as a consumer are.
The most important thing you need to know if you've got a problem with something you've bought is where you stand legally.
For a start, you can't return something simply because it suffered normal wear and tear.
Nor does accidental damage constitute a legitimate claim. Or misuse. Or where you've made do-it-yourself repairs.
And deciding you no longer want the item won't wash either.
Nevertheless, the law does provide some pretty hefty consumer firepower.
The most important of which is the Sale of Goods Act 1979. This marvellous piece of legislation provides you with the right to a refund, a repair or a replacement if goods are faulty.
This covers goods that don't match the product description, or where the quality isn't satisfactory, or if it's not fit for purpose, as it must do its job properly. And importantly, the Sale of Goods Act also protects you if you've bought items in a sale or second hand. So if your goods are faulty, you need to return them.
And that process has to begin with the production of one of these, a receipt, because no receipt, no refund, right? Wrong. In fact, any proof of purchase, like a credit card or bank statement, will do, so long as the retailer can be clearly connected with the transaction.
Then there's the return period to consider. Take a look at the small print on a receipt, and the retailer will frequently state up to 28 days money-back guarantee.
Sounds generous, doesn't it? Until you realise that you can wait for up to 6 months to return something if you want. Until then, it remains the responsibility of the retailer to prove that goods were not faulty at the time of sale.
In fact, you can wait up to 6 years to take something back, though it then becomes your responsibility, not the retailer's, to prove the goods were faulty. And these laws also apply if you buy online.
In fact, your statutory rights are even beefier, because with a few exceptions, like made-to-measure or perishable items, you can actually return goods up to 7 days after you receive them, even if they have no fault whatsoever.
But what happens if you wish to return something when the retailer's gone bust? Well, if you paid by credit card, then you should be covered.
Under the 1974 Consumer Credit Act, the credit card company is equally liable for any breach of contract. So if you don't get any joy from the retailer, you should be able to get some financial compensation from these guys.
But beware, this only applies to goods costing over £100, which you've bought using a credit card and not a debit card. And as we're coming up to Christmas, here are a couple of extra tips about your legal position regarding gifts.
Firstly, if you receive a gift and discover a fault with it, then you can't return it directly to the retailer. This job falls to the original buyer because they're the person who struck up the contract. And secondly, if you order something for Christmas and it turns up after the event, you're only entitled to complain if the retailer pledged they'd deliver it on time. So, order now to avoid disappointment.
Hopefully that's clarified a few areas of your rights ready for the Christmas rush. But there are still lots of other areas of consumer law you might want to know about. So we've listed a handy roundup from how to complain to how to protect your tech on our website at channel5.com/Gadget Show. It's live right now, so get up, stand up, and head over there for more information.
Hey, I've got a new app to show you. It's free, and it's like DIY augmented reality.
Right.
Okay, it's called Orasma.
Yeah.
And do you remember a couple of series ago, I made a little augmented Susie that popped up from a QR
from magazine,
code?
you popped up, yeah.
Exactly. Well, this will enable you to do a similar thing, but without having to make a QR code. All right, shall I show you what I mean?
Yeah, go for
right,
it.
Fantastic. So it's pure fun, really. But essentially, you use different things in your house, anything you want, to be the trigger point. So let's take the Gadget Show logo, for example. There we go. Got that. And then, of course, you want to add your aura, or the thing that you want to pop up, your image.
Yeah, so the graphics that are going to augment over the top of it.
Exactly. So it comes with preloaded all these different things. You've got helicopters, cars,
do the helicopter.
and helicopter. OK, so we choose helicopter. There we go. When I show the logo, the helicopter, there it is.
Ah, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah, really, really good.
And it's also inside got a development studio, so you can add your own auras and images. So you can take pictures of your mates, pictures of whatever you want to, really. And I did this one earlier, so if we just get quite close to the G, you should see... Look at that.
Hey, there she is.
There I am.
Hey, I love about this. You could do a sort of augmented reality treasure hunt with the kids.
Yeah.
Just go around, look at a flower, for example, and then my face pops up, you know, with a sweetie or something, you know?
And it shows you where to go to next.
I think it's a great idea.
Hours of fun. And the other thing is, it's not only Apple, it also comes on the Android platform.
And it's free.
Yay!
Welcome back. Right, it's time to return to this week's Immersive Challenge, where Otis and I are trying to learn a brand new skill using tech.
Yes, I'm learning to become a nightclub DJ, and I've got 8 weeks to get my skills up to scratch. See what I did there? Before playing in front of a crowd of up for it, rave-on Ministry of Sound club-goers.
While I, on completely the other end of the entertainment spectrum, am learning to play golf. And I have to take these newfound skills and play 2 top golfers on one of the world's leading courses.
So, we've done our research, we have found our tech, it's time to get with the learning. Yes, indeed. Polly and I had sorted out the fast-track gadgetry that we needed to take our learning curves and her golf balls into orbit.
And I've been practicing hard using all the tech I could. But my challenge was to take on 2 skilled England golfers at one of the world's best and hardest courses, so I needed to check my skills were progressing.
And to make sure I'm on exactly the right lines, I'm visiting one of the most accurate golf simulators in the world on an industrial estate in Milton Keynes.
The 4-side simulator replicates more than 50 top courses, and it showed that my swing really was improving.
Wow, I hit that 103 yards.
The GC2 smart camera is at the centre of the system. The launch monitor uses high-speed stereoscopic cameras to measure exactly how I've hit the ball. The simulator then uses that data to accurately map its trajectory, and the real ball is instantly transformed into the virtual ball with pinpoint accuracy.
So when I take my first shot off the tee onto the fairway, wherever it lands will be accurate within 1 metre of where it would do if I was actually outdoors on the course itself. It's quite unbelievable.
I'd also brought along the explainer to use alongside the sim. So far, the simulator had shown me how well my shots were grouped by putting a purple ring around where my balls had landed.
After I went on the explainer, you can see there's a little yellow circle in there. That is the radius of where I hit the 3 balls that I just used in a smaller radius, more accurate and closer to the midline which I was trying to actually hit.
The simulator allows you to play a whole round of golf without even leaving the room. And the launch monitor is completely portable, so you can use it wherever you want to practice.
I was also grafting away with the tech. After my introduction to DJing on vinyl, I was now hard at work on the digital kit that I picked up at the BPM show.
That's it, I remember. It's this one.
The practice was paying off, and I was starting to discover it was much easier to be creative with my mixing thanks to the digital kit.
I've just discovered the loop function. It's so simple. You find a bit of the track that you like and that you want to repeat over and over and over again. And then when you want it to start, you press, and then it just loops over and over again. It's lovely.
However, I was still making the sort of mistakes that I couldn't afford to make in my live gig.
You messed that one up. Messed that one up. That was awful.
As our challenge loomed large, I realised I'd neglected my putting. But there was plenty of tech to put things right on the green.
Now, one of the common faults when putting is actually using your wrist to putt. You shouldn't, it's all upper body.
And the Uniput is a cheap gadget that makes that happen. You ensure the top of the device stays in contact with your forearm.
Which should help you keep a very straight and steady putt. Simple.
There are many other putting gadgets, but this is one of my favourites, the iPing app.
So you put 5 times and it analyses the consistency and gives you a putting handicap. The higher the number is, the worse you are.
After weeks of practice, I was back at the Ministry of Sound. With time fast running out, I wanted to eyeball the venue. So this is where I'm going to perform in front of hundreds of house music fans who are more used to admiring the skills of the world's best DJs.
Yeah, I don't think my mum can help me out with this one.
Weeks before, I'd been a disaster on vinyl. So what would my mentor Chris now make of my digital mixing skills?
Wicked. Excellent. Yeah, really good. You're getting there. There you go. Check you out.
Thanks to the tech, my hard work and Chris's guidance, I now had a glimmer of hope.
I've got to ask you, Chris, do you think I can do it?
To be honest, when you came the first time on the vinyl, it was not a hope in hell's chance.
Okay.
Today, seeing what you've done with that, you've got a very good chance of pulling it off.
Cool. That's what I needed to hear, even if it's not true.
But time was running out. Our challenges were massively daunting. We were both desperate to succeed.
But behind our brave faces, the doubts and the pressure were taking their toll.
I'm interested, obviously, in the simulator. I thought the thing was fantastic. I mean, the accuracy of it was clear. However, it's several £1,000s, so it's out of the budget of most people. This little baby, however, what is it, 20 quid?
It is 20 quid, and that has been the one bit of kit I've used pretty much most of the time.
And it's simply about
fantastic.
Not flexing your wrist.
Absolutely, it's just about keeping contact and not hinging the wrist, therefore you should have a purer putt.
The
Uniput just goes to show it's not always about money, is it?
No. Yeah, exactly. OK, let's talk earphones. And by earphones, I don't mean the cheap bits of plastic that you got free with your phone, all right? In fact, if you're happy with those, maybe this isn't for you. I mean, seriously, go and make a cup of tea, all right? Get a little biscuit to dunk in there. Come back, because there's going to be some great stuff on later on the show, but maybe, you know, this isn't your moment, OK? But if you're still here, then you've got a treat in store, because the kind of earphones I'm talking about in this little test are premium quality. These really are top dollar, cutting edge, bleeding edge technology, the kind of technology that enters your ear canal and sort of gives it an oral, almost physical massage. Gadgets don't come much easier to use than these in-ear headphones. Just pop them in your ears and you're in your own little world. However, they all differ wildly in terms of sound quality and comfort. But which one should you go for to get an audio experience that is truly out of this world? I'd pick 3 sets of the best in-ear headphones money can buy. A pair of Sennheiser CXC700 ear canal headphones with their latest NoiseGuard digital technology. A pair of Shure SE535s, which have 2 woofers and a tweeter in each earphone. And a pair of ACS T1 in-ear monitors used by professional musicians and performers. These are so specialised that a technician from ACS creates a mould of your ear. Wow. In order to make you a customised pair that fit perfectly. And I'm going to test them in my specially designed earphone testing chamber. All right, it's not a chamber, it's a bus. My first test was for sound leakage. It's incredibly irritating to hear odd noises coming out of someone's earphones. So I got a group of students to listen for any annoying little sounds leaking from my top-end kit. So I'm going to load up randomly one of 3 types of tracks, a classical track, a high-end track and a bassy track, all right? You've got to try and guess which one. I started with the Sennheisers and listened to a dance track with a lot of treble. And the students listened to see if any sound leaked out. Well, what did you think the first track was?
I go for treble.
OK, what about you?
I go for more treble.
And what about you, sir?
I can't actually hear anything from it.
So, 2 correct votes for the trebly dance track showed that the Sennheisers were clearly leaking sound. I then listened to a drum and bass track on a pair of Shures.
Really quite high bass. Bass. I thought it was pretty bassy.
You're spot on, guys. 3 correct identifications proved that the Shures leaked more sound than the Sennheisers. I then listened to a classical track on my custom-fitted ACSs. What do you think?
Nothing.
Wowza! And after listening to all 3 music types on all 3 earphones, the ACSs were unquestionably the best at keeping sound in. Time for my second test. How good are the earphones at reducing background noise? Do you know what? Modern life can half get noisy sometimes. I'm not just talking about the noise of the bus. There's also pneumatic drills, car horns, and of course, guys playing bagpipes. I began by listening to the Sennheisers with their new NoiseGuard technology. This eliminates unwanted noise by adding phase-inverted anti-noise. But after listening to them with Ken the bagpiper in the background, I was disappointed. The problem with these things is that despite a relatively good sound quality, they're just not loud enough. And certainly in a noisy environment, these are next to useless. Shure described their earphones as sound isolating because they use soft, flexible sleeves to block background noise and deliver precise sound directly to the ear. They sound fantastic. In this incredibly, more than usually noisy environment, they perform brilliantly. Finally, the ACS T1s had been perfectly moulded to fit my ears, so unsurprisingly, little of Ken's playing interfered with the music I was listening to. In terms of volume, quality, and all the 3 elements, the bass, the mid-range, and the treble, utterly fantastic. My final test was the most important of all, sound quality. In order to judge all 3 pairs properly, I left the bus and settled down to listen to them in peace and quiet in order to decide my G ratings. First up, the Sennheisers, and what you're hearing is the actual audio recorded from the earphones. Instantly I turn these on, I'm aware of a lack of volume. Quite metallic sound. There's a clang to the sound. Really, I'm not getting anything more emotional from these than the standard headphones that come with my iPod. The Sennheisers were ultimately disappointing. After careful consideration, I could only give them 2 Gs. Next, the Shores. These Shores really do reek quality. They're great. They've got a rounded quality. They're a sort of mature sound. I can hear all the different frequencies. The bass is very full. But I did hear that duck then. Improved performance, but they did have some sound isolation issues. I decided to award the Shores 4 Gs. Finally, the ACSs. In order to get the bass part of the range, you have got to make sure they're in absolutely perfectly. Oh, the strings. I can see the little fiddler fiddling. Just brilliant, they're just brilliant. I was, for once, speechless. It's a thoroughly deserved 5 Gs for the ACSs. Expensive, but essential for those wanting to listen to music at the very highest level possible.
I've always found earphones moulded to your ears very good for sound isolation and also extremely comfortable. I'm glad you did too.
Yeah, I mean, at first, I wasn't sure if I was going to get on with them, because you do have to fiddle around to get them in there, don't you? It feels quite a strange sensation.
Takes a little bit of time to get used to it.
But there was no contest, certainly in terms of isolation. I think when it comes to sound, people have different experiences, and I know the Shores are very, very popular.
I like those 525s, I do. Yeah.
Exactly. I found with the kind of music I was listening to that the ACS T1s really delivered, and yes, when properly fitted, super comfortable.
Welcome back to the final part of the show and the climax to a rather immersive challenge being faced by Polly and Otis.
Yeah, about 8 weeks ago, they took on the not inconsiderable task of trying to learn 2 completely new skills using tech to teach them.
Yeah, they've both been very busy over the last 8 weeks. Otis has been trying to turn himself into a top club DJ. We've been hearing him in the hotel room next door. And Polly has been busy on the golf course, getting good enough to play 2 top golfers.
So, now, this is it. This is the final moment where we get to see if they've come up with the goods.
First up, it's Polly.
As I arrived at the home of English amateur golf, I knew this was the moment of truth.
Today could either be a major triumph or it could be an absolute disaster.
Just 8 weeks after I first picked up a golf club, I faced my ultimate challenge, taking on 18 demanding holes for the very first time and 2 experienced England golfers. England A squad member Nathan Kimsey and Steve Burnett, the National Assistant Director of Coaching.
God, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do for the Gadget Show, and I am more nervous now than what I've ever been for anything else.
And the course would be a challenge in itself. Woodhall Spa's Hodgkin course in Lincolnshire, one of the best courses in the world, but covered in ominous bunkers and impenetrable rough. It has a par of 73, which means that to beat the course, you need to complete it in 73 shots or less.
And I feel okay, right, I'm ready. I've got to get on and do it.
Luckily, I'd been given an unofficial Gadget handicap of 36, reflecting my inexperience. That's the number of extra shots I could take, so my aim was to go around in 109. Steve and Nathan had handicaps of 10 and 2 respectively, as they were much more experienced and I would have my work cut out to beat them. Even though my coach Jason was trying to calm me down, things did not start well. The pressure was really affecting my game.
Guys, see how far that went, lads? Could be a long day, boys.
This was not my day.
Interesting one. First hole down. Wow.
After a few holes, I started to settle down and my Callaway clubs really came into their own. I took 4 shots on the 5th.
Well done. Brilliant. 4.
And 5 on the 7th. Both just 1 over par and the same scores as Nathan and Steve. This was unthinkable. I was actually competing with these 2 golfers, but the thick rough was about to cost me dear. While Nathan and Steve were on the fairway, I was in deep trouble. Oh! The sand traps were another absolute nightmare. And when I landed in one of the deepest bunkers on the course, I felt like giving up. It looked impossible.
What a golf shot that is.
But all my tech-inspired training paid off as I hit a shot a professional would have been proud of.
I'm so chuffed with myself.
As the round progressed, Nathan and Steve continued to score well, but I was still fighting back with a drive more perfect than even ones I played using the Foresight simulator.
That's awesome. Well done. Well done.
Polly, I've just worked out your drive there. It went 220 yards. Brilliant.
Oh my God! This is my proudest shot of the day. It's pretty much smack bam centre.
Finally, my challenge was over. My experienced partners had beaten me. I'd taken 136 shots, way over my target of 109.
Yeah, I got there again.
But there was a surprise in store. I'd completed half of the course in under my 36 gadget handicap. And that was more than enough to convince Jason, my mentor, that I played like a golfer with years of experience. Certainly not 8 weeks.
You've chipped and putted like a golfer that's been doing it for years. You're very accomplished around the greens. To actually go around the course and not lose a golf ball.
Actually, yeah, this is...
Kept the same ball for the entire round.
This is my original ball.
Well done, Polly.
Well done, Polly. Congratulations. So you are now officially a golfer.
I am indeed, and since the filming, I have handed in my other 2 cards, and I now have an official handicap of 36.
So that means it's a win for technology.
Absolutely.
And it's a massive amount of pressure on Otis Dealey, because Polly rose to the challenge, she conquered it, and now it's Otis's turn.
I'd arrived at the Ministry of Sound. This was the moment I devoted 8 weeks of my life to.
Oh, no. They're gonna expect quality now, aren't they, looking at that picture? Look like a DJ, don't I? Let's hope I can play like one.
I was honoured that I'd been allowed to take my DJing challenge here.
It doesn't get bigger than this.
And I'd be using my trusty Tractor S4 digital mixing desk and my Sennheiser headphones. After weeks together, these were like old friends.
And I've learned some tricks. I intend to use the sample deck to fire up a few wee surprise sound bites. Have a listen to this.
DJ Otis, yeah, baby!
As my DJ slot got ever closer, the crowds were growing. The flyer had brought in hundreds of people keen to see if I would excel or fall flat on my face. The pressure was really beginning to mount. I was so nervous, I was struggling to think.
All those buttons, all those sliders, they're starting to look weird to me now, so I just want to get in there, get it done, and then I'll be able to enjoy it.
The time for talking was over.
Make some noise for Otis Dealey!
Here we go. Right, where's the play button?
I felt really nervous and the crowd seemed to share my worry. I needed to work hard just to get the punters going. My first big test was mix number 1. And it went well.
First mix! Yes! In the net! Get in! What's next?
Chris and Sam from the Ministries Academy and the crowd would tell me whether my set was a success and if I'd achieved my challenge.
It's all right. It wasn't perfect. I think it worked.
My backroom boys were certainly impressed, but then disaster struck. Some of my crucial pre-programmed music cues on the laptop had vanished.
They're missing, and I really need them.
But this was live. There was no time to reprogram, so I'd have to totally rely on my newfound DJing skills.
Fingers crossed it goes right. Look at that. You're doing that. Look at
that. As the set progressed, the crowd came alive and I grew more confident. So I threw in a voice sample. Nice! Everything was going better than I could have possibly hoped. And as I mixed in my final track, I was absolutely loving it. It was a triumphant end to my first ever DJ set, but had I done enough to win my challenge?
He got the crowd going, so that's what we need.
Otis, you did the thing, bruv. Real talk.
That was incredible.
Thank you
Absolutely
very much.
Incredible.
Thank you. To your credit, you nailed it. You know what I mean? It was good, really good. So no, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Oh, the superstar
Thank you.
DJ.
Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant effort. And the thing is, you know, the measure of your success in this challenge from complete no-hoper to DJ was evident in the faces and the moves of the people on the dance floor, because they came, they wanted a good night. They weren't bothered whether you're from the Gadget Show or not.
I've got to say, though, it was actually quite difficult to enjoy it during the set because you're concentrating so much on your mix. And a few DJs I've spoken to said they only really get to enjoy it at the end of their set.
Yeah. And wasn't there one moment when you just looked up and you just thought, I'm doing this?
No, because I was scared that if I looked up, everybody on the dance floor would be like that.
Well, they absolutely were not like that. You did a terrific job. So Otis has become a DJ, Polly has become a golfer, and we have proved that technology can help you learn a new skill.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's it for this week.
It is. See you next time.
See you next time.
See ya.